I have to ask, of course, because you started saying it's changing faster than it ever has. Artificial intelligence, large language models, machine learning, all of that is playing into. I'm seeing marketers either go by the wayside because they're not adapting, or marketers accelerating and creating, having unleashed creativity and unleashed possibilities now. I'd love to get your comment on that and how you personally, your business has already started to use it in what
Oh
you
yeah.
do.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, I might have a little bit of an addiction problem when it comes to using all kinds of the latest AI software. Like whenever the new thing comes out, I'm
Yeah.
on it that day usually. That kind of guy. I always say there's been three times in history, in my life, I should say. In my life, there's three times digitally where I thought this changed everything about everything,
Yeah.
or this is going to change everything about everything. The first time was the internet itself. I was about 11 or 12 years old. I remember reading an article on a bulletin board service that I was logged into that I probably shouldn't have been logged into because I was 11 or 12 years old, and it said, "Hey, coming soon, the World Wide Web." And I thought this is going to change everything. And
Uh,
people are like, "Did you really think that?" I'm like, "Yeah, I've been 40 since I was 12.
yeah.
My body just finally caught up with me." Um, and then when Steve Jobs got on stage and announced the iPhone, I thought this changes everything. This is
mm,
a massive cultural shift, massive technological shift. And then I don't know, whatever it was, 2.5 years ago or so, when I first pulled up that first Chat GPT, that I don't know, saw a tweet about it or read it on a website, and I thought, what is this thing? Let me check it out, because I'm definitely like a bleeding edge technologist. I love to try the new tool, and I fired it up, and I don't remember what the first thing I asked it was. I wish that I did. It'd be fun to go back and look. Maybe it's in my history somewhere. And I thought, holy smoke, this is something totally different. And it's amazing though, because most people are not really latching onto it at the
mm,
rate at which I thought that they would. People
yep.
use it scattered, like in scattered ways. And in the tech world, people talk about it all the time, but regular people are not generally using it at the rate that they could. And so
Yep.
for us, how it's going to change our industry specifically is marketing agencies have typically been a butts and seat business.
Yep.
What I mean by that is you can't scale a marketing agency historically without just adding a lot more people. And for me, we've got a great team. It's about 20 people, and I love the size because I know everybody. I know their families. I just like what we've got. I don't really want to run a 200-person marketing agency. At the same time, I also feel compelled as a leader to continue to create more opportunities for the people that I have on the team. So how do I do that? Because I've got to scale. And historically, like in project world, it was always like time, cost, and money. You can have it cheap or you can have it fast, but it's not going to be very good, or some variant of that.
Yeah.
AI is going to change that, where it can be
Mm,
much lower cost, at a higher quality, and faster. And it's already doing that. We're using it extensively internally for all kinds of projects. And we're starting to build our own tools and our own software at this point that would have been cost prohibitive or impossible before. I just demoed one a couple hours ago for how we're going to manage internal team health, that right now is a bunch of spreadsheets. And I just never wanted to pull the trigger on $50,000 worth of software development,
yeah.
even though have done software development myself. But now we can do it for thousands of dollars with regards to time invested, and
Yeah.
almost no cost in software, or very little cost for something that would have cost us 50 to 100 grand before. So it's
Yeah.
it's an amazing season.
Man, I'm gonna have to steal that, Jay. I love because I use that three pillar stool all the time, right? Have it cheap, you can have it fast, or you can have high quality, but you got to pick two of the three. And you're right. I completely agree that artificial intelligence can actually give all three of those.
Well,
Can
the
actually,
misconception
yeah,
that a lot of people have is that the quality is not there. You'll hear people say, "Well, yeah, but it can't write as good as a person." I'm like, then you're not using it right.
yeah,
Or right now, you're hearing right now in the software world, things are going to get flipped so upside down in their head. People have no idea. This is the biggest cultural shift.
yep,
Not to make this whole podcast about AI, but it
yeah,
is the biggest cultural shift. Certainly in my lifetime. It's industrial revolution kind of stuff. Maybe
yep,
it's bigger than that. It's big as the splitting of the atom,
yeah,
and but developers right now, who have written code their entire lives are going, yeah, but it's never going to write code as well as us. And I'm like, that's not true. Like
yeah,
you are going to, it's going to be faster than you. It's going to be better than you. And so you've got to learn how to use the tools, because most people aren't going to want to go write their own software.
yeah,
So software developers still have an intrinsic advantage, just like writers have an advantage,
yep,
just like designers get upset about stuff like Canva. And it's like a good designer can design better in Canva than a regular person can, but
yep.
it doesn't make Canva a bad tool. It's an incredible tool.